G, fashion stylist from Atlanta, but now based in Dallas. Super excited to be here in Dallas.
Ressie G
is Chasing Dallas by my cousin Ressie G. But yeah, I was watching
Some people say he gonna do better than me. Here you go. Ressie! Ressie G. Oh honey, what a name. It's amazing how just in 2016 I became a producer and have been able to do so many things in the web reality space and abroad. I've been able to be an activist. I've been able to just branch out and not only figure out what I'm supposed to be doing in this world, but how I'm supposed to be doing it in this world. It amazes me when I think about how my mom encouraged me to do things, and even when I stepped down from Impulse, that was an encouragement with her voice echoing in my head. From my first project with The Retreat, to Casually Deep, to Love Me, Hate Me, I think it's time that I ask myself some questions that I've never heard or been asked before. So I thought that for this final interview in Producer to Producer, that I have a conversation with myself and actually ask the questions that nobody else in the web reality space has ever asked me, so that you guys can know what those answers would be. So I welcome me. So first question for me is, describe the pressure that you feel with being a web reality staple or icon, as they say, when this really was never our intention when we first moved to Dallas. First of all, the girls are going to go, she's delusional, she's whatever, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Moving to Dallas, I never really had an intention of wanting to do this. But I knew that after my okay career as a stylist, that riding on people's coattails was not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it from the age of 25 on. So I started to think about what was going to be the change for me. And so that's when my best friend, Milan, or our best friend, really was like, why don't you move to Texas? Hadn't been to Texas. So I'm thinking Houston was going to be the stop, but it wasn't. Turned out to be Dallas. And when I got here, I've said this before, but I wanted to create something so that the gay role models here were easily accessible. Because at the time, I was searching and searching when I first moved to Dallas in 2016 and never was finding them. I later learned that the reason why I wasn't finding them was not because they weren't here. It was because they were behind the gates. So I created my own gate that I always kept the doors, or the gate doors unhinged, the gate unhinged, unlocked. And now I think there is a expectation that is set that, unlike others, those that know me know that I have met those expectations. But those that don't know me feel as if I think I'm too good for this, or I'm condescending by the way that I speak, or that I'm just not real, if that makes sense. And I know, But for me, it is a level of continual pressure to, I guess, meet the expectations of the certain web reality critics. I'll give them that. Mainly because when I was working with the brand that I helped build and make at that time a juggernaut, it's not anymore. If you know, you know. But at that time, I had a cohort who then had the same motivation that was also a friend. So I was doing it for my friend. I was helping my friend get on and, do what he wanted to do because this was his dream. And that's what I do. I build people. The proof is in the pudding with that. And so to have that level of passion for someone, let me tilt my camera a little bit, to have that pressure to have that passion for building up someone, that's when I really figured out that me being a producer in this space was more than just me, was more than just a vanity title. I live that title. The sweat equity that I put in, no one can match. And the pressure does sometimes get to me when people don't understand my intention. But I have to realize that most of the time, the reason they don't understand my intention is because they don't ask what my intentions are. They never ask what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing for. So, yeah, hope that answers the question.
What keeps you producing in an industry that you never intended to innovate?
I guess the main thing that keeps me producing in a space that I never intended to be innovative is that I do feel like this is what I was supposed to be doing. And I feel like the career that I had as a stylist somewhat was, I don't want to say a waste because it was many learning experiences that I keep and hold dear and I use today in business. But there is in the back of my mind, a thought of when I was in my junior year of high school and I won the county contest. Didn't win the state level, but I won the county level contest in my multimedia class for a project that I did. That was a sign right there. I think that was God's whisper to tell me this might be something that you need to go to college and do, go on and, all of that. But I didn't realize that until I did season 1 of Casually Deep, the podcast. And to me, innovation always comes with passion. Like if you are passionate and if you really, 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 really have a intention to feed a particular arena or a particular workforce, you will be able to prosper. And I think that for me, if I had, more money, more resources in this space, then, or outside of the space to pour into the space, I think I could put out more content. But for me, it makes me feel unstoppable. Yeah, people can say what they want to say. They can take me down. I could be used as a headline and clickbait and all those things. But I do feel that no one can do what I do. And when people do come to me and ask for my opinion or advice or guidance, whatever it may be, I do feel that I have been a person to offer up those things. And it would not have happened if I wasn't in this space that I have become an innovator within.
So, what makes Ressie G the villain in so many people's stories from your own observation?
Leaning into my supervillain era has really just happened, I would say, after being vindicated over the years from the trauma that I endured from being with that first brand, losing a close friend, being betrayed by another close friend, and then seeing them couple up together was definitely very traumatizing. And so I think that people don't understand that villains aren't born, they're made. And when you have people who voluntarily link up, first this bitch hate me, then that bitch hate me, and then they become friends. Like how? Bitch pipe down. Cardi reference if you get it. But I think that it's true that you have to have a common enemy to hide the lies and untruths that you are selling to the public. And I was an easy target. But at the same time, if I ever was to really unload the clip, then I would be just like them. So I troll enough, I tease enough, I'm the villain enough where I can sit back and laugh and relish in the confusion that I cause. And then I move on. Because at the end of it all, the content that I produce under ReVoyce has nothing to do with that. One thing that people will always commend me on is being a producer. A producer. And I have created stars. I have poured into people that have gone on to do amazing things. And I don't know if that really answers the question, but I just really have felt that being a villain is okay, mainly because villains protect themselves way more than anybody else. And so if I'm the villain in somebody's story, then fine. But I would like to ask those people who I am a villain in their stories, how did you make this villain? Because all villains are created. So that would be my question to those people who judge me and I'm the bad guy in their story. And I would actually encourage anybody who has heard a story about me to go back to the person telling it and ask them, well, what did you do to Ressie to get him to that point? And if they say nothing, I want you to come back to me and say, well, what did this person do to get you to that point? Because unlike them, I'm going to tell the truth. And one thing about a villain is villains never lie. We'll always tell the truth because it serves us no purpose. There's no benefit with us lying to people that already don't like us.
So I want you to describe to me what the journey is like now with being such a influential person within this industry and not having your cornerstone, your pillar, our mom there to actually support us like she used to. What does that feel like for you now?
I think that it's really hard. It's really, really hard. It's hard for two reasons. It's hard for the present moment of me doing these things because my mom or our mom would be the person that we would call whenever something happened, and she would be able to talk us off the cliff and just be that voice of reason. And then I think about when I do arrive where I'm going to arrive and accept my awards, I'll have to thank her from here to heaven and not from the stage to her seat, so I can actually see her appreciate the child that she's raised. So it is difficult to be the first to do many things and she not see me as she not affirm me in the human form. And that may be stingy or selfish of me to say, but I would have loved for my mom I would have loved to hear the conversation from my mom of when I became the first Black chairman and president of a nonprofit organization with no degree, with no prior experience. All I had was heart and care for the community. She was there with all of the web reality stuff and actually woke me up to a lot of things. But to make a stride like that, she always believed I could. And that goes for my dad too, but mostly my mom, because I had her in my adult years. I really find it difficult to go on achieving things without affirmation from her. Granted, I love all the viewers and all the fans and those that support me, but it's not easy.
So in the past, you have had a very crash out spirit upon you when going live and addressing situations. But nowadays you seemed more tame, more reserved, more refined, so to speak. How did that change come about? What was the turning point for that?
I think the biggest turning point for that was me learning and knowing that my voice has influence in it. And even though tons and tons of people, there's different type of people that will receive my messages. So you have the people who are the fans and the viewers who thrive and love to be entertained by a crash out. And then you have those hardcore stands of mine who will come behind the scenes and give and send me a DM and say, "Hey, I support you. I love you. Keep going. Keep doing. We see what's what." And I felt like I was doing those people a disservice. And then especially my colleagues or allies, like the people that have been interviewed in parts 1 through 6, those people, some of those people would hold me accountable behind the scenes as I would do for them. And I appreciate you. You guys know who you are. And so for me to be in that crash out space, everything I started to feel that the person that I had, the man that I had built up to be all the way up until 2016, that had gone through the, grew up in the hood, went through child abuse, went through being in a children's shelter, went through being homeless, went through um, finishing high school with honors, then not going to college because I'm listening to family members who don't know what that looks like. Then losing my losing my dad and being the person to have to decide to resuscitate or not. Then going on to have my first celebrity client. Then packing up my Mitsubishi Galant and moving to Dallas with $400 in my pocket. And what I know now is that all of that history was not and should not be discounted by a crash out. For me, now when I get on lives and panels, I get up there to help out the panel, to be honest with you. And that may be very vain, but the girls know when I get up on a panel that it's gonna bring some views for them. And at the end of it all, I bring money to web reality participants, gay, black, people of color, web reality stars, where I bring money to them. And that's my charge and that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm the only web reality producer that does that. So anytime that I can do that, I have learned that through my journey of refinement, my lock-ins, that that will transcend anything that any crash out that I've ever had. So I would rather be refined and get up on a panel because people have to understand when I'm cammed up, the energy is different than when I'm not cammed up, if that makes sense. So I just really have taken this refinement as a nod to some things that people in the past have said, the people that watch me and support me. I vividly remember when Armand Wiggins, and we remember this when he commented on a live that I was doing on Facebook, and he said, "Shawnee O'Neal would never do this." And I said, "Okay, that's a wake up." And yeah, so I think that the refinement has been a good route to take, but don't test me. Please don't test me. Please don't try me because when it comes down to trying to assassinate my character, especially against something that people know is just ridiculous, like all this other stuff that you can't really prove, it's like, okay, girl, whatever. But when it's really a situation that could really be a detriment to my brand, my person, then it's time to go in. The refinement might go out the window, but that's when the human tap in and it's time to go off, to be honest.
So I want to talk about how you have used your influence with being a producer and going officially into philanthropy. You know, when you first moved here in 2016, that was a goal for you to actually, start that journey of fundraising and doing all that. And you've done that over the past 2.5 years. Now that you've stepped down as the president of Impulse, what tools or what lessons did you take from being a producer into that space?
The biggest thing that I learned with going from web reality to being in philanthropy with a budget, let's be clear, is that none of it's different. It's not different. And I say that because there are people that judge me. I mean, even though I came into the Impulse Dallas chapter and really completely polished it up, rebranded it with heart and all of that, there were still elements of me being a part of that just because I was Black, just because I was femme presenting, and because I was outspoken, that were it did backfire, but I'm okay with it backfiring because of how I handled those situations. And so when the time came for me to make the post that I made announcing my step down, if you know, you know, I got my power back, so to speak. And I realized that the similarities between me being over there and me being in web reality is that there was someone above me who just could not understand and did not have the same level of passion that I did. Tell you that my first sign of me wanting to get ready to step down from doing Impulse was when I had did 2 AIDS walks and brought my team out, and then I helped organize a march here in Dallas. And I was told by the person above me that those things didn't matter because it didn't really meet the bottom line. And that was my sign to, okay, girl, start getting your clothes together because it's getting close to you. It's getting close for you to go ahead and go. And then to be disrespectful, I did the anniversary party for the chapter, and to find out by my security that there were leaders within the organization in the bathroom about to have sex with people that attended the fundraiser, the anniversary party. And mind you, this particular person hadn't come to a Dallas event in years, maybe almost 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. And then you get so inebriated that you go in the bathroom to have sex. And then when I tell another leader, there's a meeting the following day to talk about the choices that I had made when it came down to it. But the biggest similarity, though, that outweighs all of that is that I understand that I got big shoes to fill, and I am a tough act to follow. Tough act to follow. And that has been proven time and time again in the web reality space. And that is serving to be true now in that nonprofit space as well. So those two arenas were not very different. And I'm happy that they weren't different because I knew how to navigate it. And I knew that this was something that I should have been doing, not because I was called to do that, but I was called to do a form of that. Because at the end of it all, without the work that I put in the web reality space, the networking, putting the city on, putting on the participants, and all of that, I would have not been able to have as much clout here in the city of Dallas to even acquire that seat. I mean, it's unheard of for somebody with no degree, no experience, feminine, black, plus size, to step into a seat as the chairman and president over a board, over the organization, traveling all over the US, speaking in all these engagements, going into these places and speaking on behalf of it. And then on top of that, being the first, because historically the organization was all white. So whether and racist at times, to be honest. So to see some of those members come back because they saw somebody black at the helm of it, and they knew automatically that a black person is going to be more equal to me and more understanding to my struggle and my want to be a part of this, was a huge nod to my tenure in the web reality space. Granted, people judged me and people were jealous of me because they felt that I was trying to just keep the spotlight. And I never cared for the spotlight in the first place. When I got into the web reality space, the way that I am on camera is the same way I am off camera, and people just gravitated to it and loved it. But what people always miss is after the camera is done filming me, the business acumen that I have, the proof of concept that I have, the history that I have with navigating this world is always missed, because at the end of it all, I will always do a great job at whatever I do. So I understand that in both spaces, I have been misunderstood and only understood, by the people that really have taken the opportunity to know my history. It's similar, you know. I look at it, those that mind don't matter and those that matter don't mind, child.
What did you learn from your time at Impulse as the first Black president? Hello, okay, that you will take into this reinvigorated or revitalized journey with ReVoyce?
The biggest thing that I learned while at Impulse, managing six-figure budgets, managing a team, a board, doing all of that really taught me that there's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing that I can't do. And it taught me that even with heart being the forefront of every action that I make in real time, there will still be people that don't understand you. I can recall when I did the turnabout with Impulse. Immediately when I announced the turnabout, there was nobody gravitated towards it. But then when I started to play the reality TV girly game and actually navigate it like that, people came at me here in the community. And I approached them, I met them where they were, and I was surrounded literally by multiple people trying to make me change the reasons or the methods of how I was going to do that event. And it turned out to be a great event. And people still miss that, because here in Dallas, the Black gay community loves to say that they don't feel welcome on Cedar Springs, which is the neighborhood. And there's not enough Black events on Cedar Springs. There is an organization called Fellow that I actually sponsored for, 4 months, 4 or 5 months, something like that, monetarily. And they are a Black organization. And then the event that I threw was at the historic S4, which is where all of your favorite drag queens that have gone on to Drag Race, it's like a rite of passage to perform there. And for me to, one, hit that stage and perform there was one thing. And then to, two, be able to provide a Black event at this space that people consider to be oh so white, and for that to be missed, it really just taught me that not everybody is going to see your vision. Not everybody is going to hear your intention, but just keep going. And I think past that, it really gave, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It really gave way to me having thicker skin, even thicker skin, versus just kind of going along to get along nowadays. And so now I have too many examples of me doing above and beyond from the from the web reality space to my everything else, to not be or not to dub myself as that girl, that bitch. So yeah, it reaffirmed what I should be doing, which is why even though during my tenure with Impulse, that 2.5 years of that term, I still created and produced 4 projects, but nobody understands that, I was getting up, working my 9 to 5, clocking out of that for an hour, then going to an event for Impulse, also filming things for ReVoyce. Um, and then some days I'm actually working my job and working on Impulse stuff or creating graphics for ReVoice, editing, doing whatever. And so I know for a fact that no one can hold a candle to my efforts and what I have chosen to do with my time. And it just reaffirmed that for me. So my time with Impulse Group Dallas will never be um, looked at as a waste, not in my eyes. I know there's something bigger and better. And the crazy thing is, when I left Impulse, I had so many offers, child,
So let me ask you this. So what do you feel that you have left to contribute to the web reality space specifically?
I think that I feel that Ressie G has a lot to still contribute, but I have been given a key to unlock a particular door because people have gotten away from the authenticity of what this space was supposed to be and what it could be. Because people now, they're in this baddie culture. But if you look at how things were at the very beginning, people were actually thriving and growing from their participation in the web reality space. Now they don't. Now it's just literally after the show is done, there's nothing else. And that's mainly because of the people, the producers that are creating these shows or managing these shows, because they're not producing the people. They're not, you don't get arcs of a story. You don't get character development of a story. You don't get those things anymore. And so I really feel that I have to bring content that shows growth for gay Black people, gay Black entrepreneurs, gay Black music artists, gay Black, just anything Black and gay, anything Black and LGBTQ plus. And I know I have to be strategic in the way that I do it because I don't want to lose the respect that I've developed. But at the same time, the girls are just not doing the job that needs to be done anymore.
So tell me, what was the reason behind you taking this hiatus or just not producing in a space that you literally have innovated?
Um, I think hiatus might be a strong word. Um, but what I can say is I chose to not participate as much because I don't have to. I don't have to participate if I don't want to. Because I've seen that I'm a cash cow to some. And so when people want to get a rise out of me and things like that, if I have time, I'll play the game. I'll play the game and let them get it, get their ones. Um, but the joke is on them because when I close the app that I'm on, I mean, the conversation is dead and it does not continue or transcend past that video. But I chose mostly because, one, I needed to heal. I needed to heal from the bull. I needed to take time for myself and really understand that you are bigger than what you have contributed. And I can recall talking to my best friend, our best friend Milan, back in probably like 2012, 2013, I think, maybe 2011, when I discovered TED Talks and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do a TED Talk one day. And I really, really, really feel like one day my voice is going to be heard by millions of people, thousands and thousands of people. And for that to come to fruition, to know that millions of people know my name, have seen my face, have heard my voice, and some of those people have judged me or whatever, is a testament to what is to come. And I think now it's really all about just taking time and understanding too that I'm needed in this space, because there was a point where I thought that people really didn't give a damn either. But the very people that were downing me and talking about me and talking shit and hating on me during the time, it's literally thirsty for my work. They're hungry for my work. But at the same time, what people don't understand is that it does take money. It does take cooperation from others. And, my goal now is with my content to actually be a more awarded producer, because the more awards, the more gigs, the next steps you get to go. And producing reality TV can get you those awards, but being a documentarian can do that as well. Taking those steps, being a host, a spokesperson can do that as well. Being a commentator can do that. So that's where I have really tried my best to pivot, because I want to make sure that I don't waste anybody's time, especially not my own, with anything that I do now. So it has to be intentional, like producer to producer. This is intentional because we heard points of view throughout this whole process from people that we've never even thought to think or hear from. And that's why I chose these particular people. I mean, there were more people that shall remain nameless that I asked to be a part of this project, but it wasn't priority to them, which is fine. It wasn't priority to them. And that's just God, the ancestors, and the universe telling me the conversations that you need to have is with these six people. Because initially it was supposed to be 10. But with these six people, they're going to have those conversations with you, and you're going to learn something from them. They're going to teach you something, and they are going to be the people that you should work with in the future should an opportunity present itself. And the others, you just do what you want when you want. But these people that I have had conversations with, these six guys, have really shown me that conversations are needed, and these things should be had. These conversations should be had.
So, in an interview, you spoke with your friend Oliver Twist on his YouTube channel, and you expressed how the dissolution of your entire team happened. And, you going from Chasing to Gemini Films and all of that stuff, that change really happened. Can you speak to the impact that it had on you then and where you are with those people now?
Absolutely. So, on Oliver's channel, when we had that conversation and I expressed that everybody left me, they did. Because at the time, they chose themselves. They wanted to make moves for themselves and grow for themselves. And I knew that then and I know that now. But what else I do know, and this is no shade, the grass is not always greener. And that actually confirmed to me that I'm supposed to be doing this type of work because I cared for those people that chose themselves and not me. I do think that they were disappointed in the way that I chose to handle particular situations. And I think also that they understood why. But sometimes you got to take a big swing for yourself, and that's fine. Now, with the team members, we picked up like we never left. With the friends, not so much because I, and then there are people that double as both. But I have realized that my personal relationship should not have to be a auction. They should not have to be an auction for my feelings. I shouldn't have to guard my heart with people that I say I love personally just to be comfortable around you. I shouldn't have to think in my mind if I make one misstep and then a pivot that you're gonna run because of the hype of what something may seem. And then when you get used, I'm gonna tell you I told you so. It is unfortunate though for those people that have done that, but I will say it goes back to my intentions too. I never have done anything with malicious intent. None of this has been self-serving to me, at least, because I felt like I've had my time in the sun when I was a stylist. I had done a lot. And so now when I do this work, I go off of feeling. If it feels good, then I'm going to do it. If my heart says, I'm going to do it. If my brain says, ching, ching, I'm going to do it. But me having the intention of doing something just for others, that's dead now. Like I don't have that anymore. So yeah, I don't have that anymore. So I guess we're good. Everybody's good. It's just I see them with different eyes now. I see them all with different eyes.
So describe to me the moment that you knew that you were an innovator and not just a producer. What was that moment for you?
I mean, there have been a lot of moments throughout my second career, which is being a producer. But if I had to say or pinpoint one moment was when season one of Chasing Dallas premiered and first week out with less than 50,000 subscribers on the Chasing Reality YouTube channel, we hit 100,000 views. And then that happened again the following week and the following week and the following week. So it was four consecutive weeks of us peaking at 100,000 views. And so then I knew, oh, bitch, you might be a problem. But I didn't know then what I know now as to how much of a problem that I would be. So I think that was a moment. And then the second, okay, well, I'll give you this. I will give myself this. The number one moment that I knew that I was invented, I can't even get it out because I'm excited to share because I don't think I've ever said this before. The moment that I knew that I was an innovator was when I fought for Imani Van Zap to be within the lexicon of what I was building at that time. I had no idea what it was. And boom, she comes in. She trusts me. I fought for it with my then close friend and the guy who was running the company and the partnership. I fought for it, and then it exploded into so many different. It grew so that tree grew so many branches, and I knew that I was innovative then, and I knew that by caring. My problem, though, I will share this. My problem with adding Imani to the fold was yet again another example of me doing more for a friend than doing for myself. Because at the end of it, Imani was my friend that trusted me. Imani did something for me, or Eric Dillard did something for me. And I appreciate we had that relationship. But I was doing something for this person that mismanaged those actions and the things that I did. So it comes with it's a two-edged sword. So it comes with good and bad. You just have to know how to navigate the bad and then also appreciate the good.
So when you look at how you want to grow the brand and really pour into diversifying your portfolio, what are the reasons behind you doing productions or these new productions like say Oso Cunty, Banshee Boys and things like that, like kind of that crash out trendy type of production work?
Me wanting to diversify my portfolio by doing, say, a crash out show is because I still want to create producers and create stars. So even with all the other shows that I've done, I've always been a master at giving you drama, but also giving you substance. So even with a crash out show, I feel that I have the wherewithal to give or slide in some substance along with the crash out. Now, I have made a vow to myself that if it doesn't get casted or if the people that I'm working with on the project don't put in the work, it won't come out. So I suspect that I'm going to announce a lot of shows and ideas that I want to do. But if the people are not wanting it by applying, and if the people or my reach is not wanting that, and if the people that are on my team or that want to collaborate are not working hard, I'm not going to put in my effort because I need people around me who are willing to actually fight as hard for their visibility as I will fight for them. I'm no longer going to put in empty efforts to other people anymore. If you want to get in bed and do some things with me, then we can do some things, which is why you see me constantly reuse other people. While I'm working with other people, I'm pouring into certain people. You say you have a dream and an idea. I said, okay, well, this is what I have access to and how I can help you make it happen. Not saying that I'm like, what, Vincent Herbert or Barry Gordy or anybody like that created these mega super Clive Davis that created these mega superstars. But I will say that the people that I have touched, have gone on to become influencers and charting music artists and have millions of followers and things like that. And so I do take credit and give myself my pat on the back for actually having enough heart for the people and not even realizing how much of an influence I have at that time or in those times.
So being that you are a unexpected or the unexpected web reality icon, what else do you think that you have to contribute to this space?
First of all, when people call me an icon, I always joke about it and just be like, okay, cool. And I hate this word, but humble. I guess I'm still humbled by being called an icon in the web reality space. I am. It doesn't go to my head because that never was a goal. All I wanted to do was do something well, create a show that transcended the negativity of being Black and gay. And I believe I did that with And I am doing that with every show or anything that I do. Um, but there's still a lot of work left to do because at the end of it all, our rights are still being taken away as gay people, as LGBTQ people. So LGBTQ plus as a community, our rights are still being taken away. So until the day I die, I will always find relief and solace and fulfillment in producing us, giving us a platform, whether it's hundreds of thousands of people to watch or whether it's 10 people to watch. Something that I put out, and if only 10 people watch it, those 10 people could potentially think a different way that could lead to creating better people in the world. So, and I think that's where a lot of people get me so confused because they always try to say, this show had tons of views and Ressie G show didn't even have this amount of views. And I don't do it for the views. I do it for the access to a different viewpoint. I do it because I want people to know that we are more than faggots. We're more than that.
Going forward, do you think that you produce for yourself or for the people that are under your leadership or the fans? Like what do you feel is the driving force as to why you're continuing to do this work in the space?
Well, I think it's all the above. I do produce for myself because I have learned that I need to be appreciative of what I put out and actually happy and enjoy the finished product. I have learned that. And when it comes down to the fans and the people that have watched my content or watched me do whatever, I know there's still people out there that are rooting for me. And so while I have breath in my body, I think it's only right to give people a moment to just fade away into a show or some type of content that I've created. Why not give them that fantasy to take them away from this hard world that we're currently living in, especially with this current administration? So why not give them another piece of me that I can be happy that they have taken? I can regenerate what I give out. Take a piece from me, put it into a project, and then I can regenerate that. But what I can't regenerate is being a person who plays in the faces of those that have supported me since 2016. I'm not going to do that. But yeah.
So speaking of yourself, a lot of people have seen like a lack of like personal in lieu of you actually going on this journey to greatness. Dissect the sacrifices that you've put in place to achieve those goals, as well as whether it's intentional or not intentional.
I think that I've always been a person to say, fill your cup up. I don't know how many times I've told my team to fill their cup up, my cast members to fill their cup up, because if your cup is not full to overflow, you can't give anything out to anybody else. And like the Course in Miracles says, if you give to the point where, I'm paraphrasing, if you give to the point where you have nothing left, you make that person that you gave it to a thief. And I don't want any thieves in my house. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want people around me to have any type of scarlet letter for taking too much from me when I didn't have to give it in the first place. And so I've sacrificed being in romantic relationships, having more friends, because I know that popularity comes at a cost. And sometimes you have to pay those bills with personal. Sometimes the cost is on that receipt of not having a man, not having a ton of friends. But now today I can say that me not having those people around me has given me time to make space for figuring out what I do love to do, what does bring me joy, what I can do privately just by my lonesome and just be giddy and happy. So um, I am fulfilled in that way, and I appreciate, excuse me, I appreciate all of that. Um, I appreciate all of that, and I won't. Before I say it, I want to make sure I, if it's for me, it's for me. And right now, the only thing that I know for sure that's for me is this work. So if I'm meant to have more friends, I'll take it. If I'm meant to be in a relationship, I'll take it. If I'm meant to have children, I'll take it. When my mom passed, the weight of me having children left because she was the one who wanted a grandchild more than I wanted a child. Because I don't believe in willingly raising a child in a single parent household. So I was, working towards get a man, fall in love, get a child, all those things. But I had learned when she passed, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders because I didn't have to give her a grandchild any longer. What I could do then was breathe a little bit easier and know that she is in a better place. And that if I want children, I can get it. If I want a man, I can get it. If I want more friends, I can get it. And that's not something that I I had really digested before. I think back to very vividly, I remember a conversation that me and Ondario Abrams had years and years ago, and he asked me when he was in a relationship, he asked me, "Do you think if you weren't doing the show, that you would be in a relationship right now and that, you would have a man?" And I said to him, "Absolutely. Absolutely." And I returned the question and asked him the same about friends, and he agreed too. And so we shared that sentiment. And it dawned on me that this is a choice. This is the life that I chose. And so, because I chose this life, and the universe, God, and the ancestors have affirmed that this is the life that I'm supposed to be in, it does come with benefits, costs, and declines. So, yeah, yeah.
Okay, girl. So to close it out, um, let's just go with the big three. So what would you tell our 12-year-old self?
um, what would I tell 12-year-old Reese? I would say, baby, get ready because in 2 years, you're going to have to grow up. In 2 years, your dad is going to die, you're going to be abused, and that's when your life is officially going to begin. No one is going to be there for you like you have to be there for yourself. Trust God, trust the ancestors, trust the universe to navigate you way past your expectations, and don't feel left behind. I would also tell my 12-year-old self that you are more than enough. You are actually too much, and you're going to be too much. But with all that muchness, save a little for yourself because it's gonna be a long road. It's going to be a long road, baby boo. It really is.
So when the camera stops, the red light stops, all the lights are down, and you are alone in your room, in your own little corner, in your own little chair, where do you ultimately want to end up?
I ultimately would love to end up in a very nice home with a Emmy Award in my office, a GLAAD Award in my office, a SAG Award if I choose to join the union, a Critics' Choice Award in my office, and become a well-respected entity within production. That's where I would like to ultimately end up. And in turn, with all that success, it would give me access to do more for young Black boys that are victims of child abuse, like I was, that was forcibly put into foster care, like I was. So every day, I understand that you have to work hard so that you can save more people. You have to work hard so that you can influence more to make change. And even with the work that I've done so far, I see how the fruit of my labor have fed so many people. You know, I can go pick from the tree from the seeds that I planted and give it to someone else, and they will hunger no more, so to speak. So that's where I ultimately want to end up.
What advice would you, with all the lessons that we've learned together, what advice would you give to yourself, producer to producer?
Ooh, child, what advice would I give to myself? Lord have mercy. There have been so many lessons. There have been so many lessons. But right now, currently, the piece of advice that I would give to myself would be resilience will always win. So anticipate a journey where resilience pays off. That's it, and that's all.
As I close this final conversation of producer to producer, I want to extend heartfelt gratitude to every producer who showed up with honesty, courage, and purpose. Oliver Twist, Lester Matthews, Juan Rivera, Roderick Raisin, Brandon Victram, Greg Ruffin, to you all, I say thank you for these conversations. To our listeners for holding space for these conversations, I thank you as well. What we've discovered together is that growth is not always perfect. We've discovered clarity doesn't always come on time, and sometimes the point may be missed, but the effort, the intention, and the truth are always present. These conversations weren't just about production. They were about healing, evolution, risk, resilience, and the shared responsibility of building something better for the web reality space. Thank you, all of you, for witnessing these journeys with me, for honoring these processes with me, and for believing in the power of conversation to move culture forward with me. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and keep producing your life with purpose, from one producer to another.